Shalom, 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 shalom. What's going on? What's going on? Shalom, 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 brothers and sisters. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes here. Let everybody jump in. Let me roll my window up. See me apart. A lot of noise in the background. Shalom, 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 shalom. What's going on? I know everybody's been kind of seeing what's going on lately and whatnot. So I just wanted to come on and say something. I didn't want to just jump on. I wanted everything to calm down and whatnot for a little bit, and then really, seek the Father on, the message that I would bring here and give to our people, our community, and whatnot. So definitely thank you guys for tuning in. I know more people are going to be tuning in. Definitely like, share, this message. But I want to speak to our community as Messianic believers. And if there are any Christian brothers and sisters out there who have been seeing what's going on with Brother Berean, have been seeing what's been going on with the whole thing, especially the other 2 nights ago with vocab and Pastor Kelly and Dante, Mr. Dante, and Brother Muhammad Tanzamore, and all of that, everything that's been going on. But I want to definitely speak to Brother Berean with this video. This is not something that because I talked to my brother and whatnot. So this is not one of those videos or anything where I have not talked or spoken to him. I didn't tell him I was doing a video, but I spoke to him the past couple of days. So spoke to him also yesterday, and so but I want to be able to be effective and impactful as possible when it comes down to dealing with things as a leader. I've grown in wisdom over the past few years of being a moray and pastoring a church, pastoring assemblies, and there's just certain things and certain ways you move and whatnot, and certain conversations that you have. I've learned and grown to develop that there's certain conversations that I have leader to leader. There's certain conversations that I don't have with other lay members. And I understand that doctrinally, the elders and the leaders establish doctrine in the church, in the assemblies. It's always been that way. And so doctrinal conversations, I've grown that I don't get into just frivolous conversations with people who are not in leadership about certain things. But I wanna deal with this. I wanna say this first and foremost is that I've been down the road of dialoguing, trying to have conversation, and I understand. I understand what he's trying to do. It's not popular to be able to try to get people together to sit down and talk. Sometimes people will look at you like you're crazy. What are you trying to do? It can be confusing. There has not ever been any form of resistance to something that is new, or seems to be new, or seems to be out of the norm. It always come with resistance. There was resistance even when we talk about, voter rights and right for black people to vote in this country. There was resistance for all of these things, but the persistence and consistency of it is everybody can't stay on the wall and do. I want to say this: there can be no forcible dialogue. There is no forcible dialogue. The only people that will sit down to even hear each other are people who are mature, are people who are trying to have the conversation. In this country, we see we can't even get, let's deal with the practical, we can't even get the Republicans and the Democrats to sit down to have a dialogue with each other because there are egos involved. Not only are there egos involved, but there are also fan bases, or there are also base or followings involved. And there's also money involved. People who have already drawn a line in the sand and already established a base and things of that nature, they don't want to cross that line into losing their base, no matter what side of the fence it's on. I've seen this in the Israelite community, and I've seen this in the Christian community. I'm not one who speaks from someone who hasn't been in any form of leadership while I was in the Christian church. I'm speaking one from experience who has. And so there can't be any forcible dialogue. This has to be something that is organically comprised and put together. It has to be organic. People have to be willing to do it. But not only that, in today's day and time, when you have these audiences and followings and things of that nature, and people are trying to protect what they've built, the only form of dialogue that can take place where people will actually listen to each other are behind closed doors. You cannot have a dialogue with anybody who's trying to protect the base, and this is, again, this is both sides here, protecting the base and actually get a positive outcome. It's going to always resort to confusion. It's going to always resort to these things. Not only that, let's deal with the spiritual aspect of it. All right, you have people who have certain doctrines that they hold on to, that they've grew up in, that they've believed, that they've converted to. When you have people who have these doctrines, let's take, for example, Calvinism, or anybody that is a Catholic, or anybody of whatever doctrine that they hold to, people take on the spirit of that particular doctrine and that the people that they follow. So if you have someone like a John Calvin, you have Martin Luther, you have any of these type of people, even if you grew up or you converted to some form of Israelite camp or anything of that nature, you're going to take on the spirit of the teacher. You're going to take on the spirit of the one who created the doctrine. And so there's, if we look throughout history, we can find that there's certain spirits that come along with certain doctrines and certain people. So the thing is, we have to really look at this and get an understanding of really what's going on. All right, there has to be sensible adults, people who are not in it for the base. All right, there has to be those who are going to sit down and willfully talk. Now, I want to say this, and I say this to Brother Berean. Brother, maybe, just maybe, because I know you want people to understand that all of the Israelites are not the same. And many of the people who you speak to and talk to know this. Okay, know this. But people have drawn the lines in the sand. They have drawn the line. They have chosen what side they're going to stand on. Maybe, just maybe, it's not for everybody to get it. Just maybe the Most High called you to be the one to be able to give wisdom to those in the Israelite community, give wisdom to those in the church. And I'm talking about those who genuinely and want to know, who genuinely are seeking truth. Maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's not for you to try to force everybody to get it. Because if they don't have the spirit or the ruach that's on them to hear, they are not going to hear. So this is not a rebuke to you at all. What this is that this is encouragement to you. All right? This is encouragement to you. Maybe that's your assignment. Maybe that's and I told this to you before. Maybe it's your assignment to do what you're trying to get others to do, that they are not trying to do it, because that's not their assignment. And no matter how much we force people, no matter how much we try to want people to get it and to understand, they are not going to get it. And what happens is you walk away frustrated, you walk away upset, and you walk away questioning the Most High, asking, why don't they see what you see? And maybe it's because they are blinded for a reason. Everybody's not going to get it. Everybody's not going to sit down. When we start talking about these councils, we simply see with these councils, we simply see that people would go behind closed doors and have these council meetings. Council of Nicaea, you didn't see lay members, you didn't see everybody in the city at these councils listening to seeing what's going on. You didn't see this. A lot of these council meetings were private conversations where brothers can sit down and listen to each other and agree with each other on a particular point. But when you have the crowd involved, henceforth, the reason why you see Yeshua would take his disciples and take them away from the crowd and would talk to them and ask them questions about certain things. Why? Because when the crowd is around, people egos get flared up. People fan base or get revved up. People are trying to impress people. And it cannot happen. It's not going to work. So I want to encourage you, brother, keep doing what you're doing, but you have to understand something. It's not everybody's assignment. It's not everybody's assignment. Maybe it's yours. Maybe it's yours. And maybe your assignment isn't to speak to those that got degrees. Maybe it's to speak to the people that don't have degrees, that ain't thinking about going to no school, that don't trust the school, but yet they trust your voice because they hear the Most High Yah through your voice. Maybe that's it. Everybody's not going to be trained in seminary or Bible school and all these things. So therefore, those people have to be reached too. Maybe that's your assignment. Maybe it's not about trying to bring everybody to the table, but maybe it's on your assignment to bring those who are willing to hear and listen and sit down to the table. And the only way you can do that, the Most High is going to send the people that want to hear, that want to listen. It's not our assignment. It's not us that is to gather the people to force them to listen and talk. That's not our assignment, because we can't force nobody to listen. We didn't force anybody to receive Christ as our Savior anyway. So we have to look at this from this perspective. We have to look at it from the perspective of maybe your circle changed because your assignment is different than theirs. Maybe you don't fit in, and that's a good thing. It's not always good to fit in. Sometimes it's good to fit out. Sometimes it's good not to be the one to fit in. You know why? Because sometimes the Most High can trust you and he can tell you where to go and you're going to go. But if you're confined to a box or to a space and he tell you to move and you're still confined to that box, then you can't move. The only thing you're going to do is go to a different part of the box, but you're not going to go outside that box. It's not popular to be chosen, and we all have our assignment. And we all, if it don't fit the status quo, it's going to always be viewed as something that's not sacred. It's going to always be viewed as that. So we have to know that we have to let the Most High sort out the fruit. When a picker picks fruit, the picker doesn't sort while he's picking. The picker gathers the fruit and takes it to the place of sorting. Then somebody else job is to process it. Our assignment is to pick. Somebody else's assignment is to separate. And the Most High is the processor through the Holy Spirit, the Ruach HaKodesh. So I want to encourage you, and I want to encourage everybody that's on here listening, especially to the Messianic Hebrews. We all have an assignment to do. We cannot get caught up in distractions. It's too many people. It's too many people who are searching. And I want to say this real quick before it's left my mind. Thank the Ruach for reminding me of this. The other night, Jay, the producer, Brother Jay, made some awesome points when he said, if you want to reach brothers and sisters, you cannot reach them on a public platform. This is where everyone fails at evangelism. Evangelizing isn't on social media. That's not the only level of evangelism. That's most people that I've reached, it wasn't just on social media. And Jay Producer said the same thing. Most of the people that he said he reached, it was through personal relationship. Personal relationship. Talking on the phone, out of the element, away from the crowd. All of these things. This is how you build with people. That's true evangelism. It's true evangelism. If you're really trying to reach somebody and really trying to see someone change, you long suffer with them. Not only that, but you develop a personal. When you see Yeshua connect with people, he connected to them, and he also had a level of compassion. You can't display compassion if you don't create relationship. You can't properly connect with people without relationship. And this is an encourage all of you to understand. If you want to reach people, you can't do it on this. Social media has been one of the worst curses there is. It's a blessing and it's a curse. But the way I've been seeing people been moving and using it, it's a curse. It's been more of a curse than a blessing to people. Because let me tell you something. The rah-rah section, only gonna gas you up to entertain them. The rah-rah section on social media is to gas you up to entertain them. And majority of the people who gassing you up, they have no level of responsibility ministry-wise. They didn't have it when they was in the church, and they didn't have it now. Because you didn't see none of the disciples. Nor did you see Yeshua having a rah-rah section. And shame on any of you. Shame on any of you in the rah-rah section. So I just want to leave that. I want to encourage the brother, hey man, listen, keep doing what you're doing. You got support from both sides. But at the same time, you also too have to make sure that your response is always in character. Because that is, if people can't get you any other way, if Hasatan cannot use to do anything else to get you to quit, he'll try to discredit you. And how does he do it? Get you to get out of character. Now, to the rah-rah section, they view that as weak. But to the kingdom, character is always the key to you being used. Because your character is tied to your credibility. Heaven will fight for you if you got great character. But if you want the rah-rah section to fight for you, then you don't need no character for that. Because everybody loves characterless people. They get charged off of it And that's all they talk about. That's all they talk about. So I want to encourage all of you, man. Listen, we have to reflect. We have to check ourselves. We have to look at ourselves and get an understanding of why are we doing what we're doing. Yeshua had character. And Yeshua knew who his backup was. And only time he let you know that is when you tried to check him and to make him think that you had power over him. Then he told you, I'm not of this world. He kept his mouth quiet, silent, until you start talking to him and acting as though you had power over him. And people will try to have power over you, but you have to remain in character. You have to remain with great character. Whatever you have to do, however you have to channel that energy, don't allow people to cause you to get out of character. I'm talking to Brother Berean. It's my brother. I love him. Don't allow people to get you out of character. You remain in character. I don't care what they say about you. I don't care what they do to you. Yeshua himself, they beat him, they spit on him, they did all these things to him, and he was innocent, and he stayed in character. Now, how can we get out of character all because people say certain things? Now, I'm not telling you not to address issues. What I'm saying is that every issue don't have to be addressed publicly. There are some issues that do, and you have to pray that the Most High give you the wisdom on when and when not to deal with these things. But every issue does not require being addressed. Me, I've always said, people say, why don't you choose sides? I have. I've chosen the side of the kingdom of the Most High Yah while being an Israelite. Nothing comes before me choosing the Most High side. Not Israel, not the Christian church, not anybody. Because at the end of the day, I have to stand before him and give an account for me, not to Israel and not to the church. Nobody have dibs on my soul but the Most High. And so we all have to come to that reality check to understand that at the end of the day, we have to make sure that we align ourselves properly and deal with things properly and deal with them properly. So I wanted to come over here and encourage all of you, keep fighting the good fight, the great fight of faith, endure to the end, don't waver, okay? Be, as the psalm says, be planted by the rivers of water. Planted, rooted. Get your roots deep in Yeshua HaMashiach. Get your roots deep. Because when the storm comes, the tree may bend, but the roots don't come out the ground. And so I want to encourage y'all, man. Okay? First and foremost, I want to encourage my brother Berean, but I also want to address and say these things, man. You cannot force dialogue with nobody who don't want to sit down with you. It can't happen. And if people draw a line in the sand, let them go about their business. You do your thing and let them do their thing. There's no need to even talk about it no more. It's no need even to deal with those folks anymore. The line in the sand has been drawn. Now, you let the Most High do what he got to do, and you get on mission. You let the Most High do his thing, you get on mission. There may be somebody else's assignment, maybe to fight the way they fight. I'm not telling you how to fight, but what I'm saying is make sure the way that you're fighting is of the Most High. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. And I want many of you to think. Think about what you are called to, who you're called to, and your assignment. And if you don't know, You need to search the Most High and ask him to reveal your assignment to you. Because we all have it. And I'll leave you with a shalom.